Well, that purpose,
Purpose
if the purpose is properly and proactively
planned.
Little alliteration there. And it's like,
Right.
well, do I have a business or does a business have me?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig.
Let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Hey, Mr. Jason. Hey, Mr. Jason.
What is up, Mr. Craig?
Well, just hanging out, just floating around. No, I'm not actually. And you know why?
Why?
Because there's purpose behind what I'm doing. And I think there's purpose behind what you're doing.
Did you say there's a porpoise behind me?
There's a porpoise behind you looking over your shoulder. Is a porpoise the same as a dolphin? I think we've had this conversation.
Whoever's listening is thinking, I've heard this before.
Right. Deja vu.
Bumbling dudes.
Two bubblers bubbling through it with stuffy noses because they got mold at their house. So I think that it's important to talk about this, about having, whether you're talking about personally, you're talking about professionally, of having that purpose, right? And then creating those bullet points below that purpose so that you're super clear and specific on what your outcomes are, right? Like, what is the purpose for what you're doing? If you own an agency, what is your purpose in owning that agency? What is your purpose? What's your outcome? What do you want to achieve by doing those things in addition to what your purpose is for your clients?
Right. And it might be also with our staff or whatever. At the end of the day, what drives us isn't as easy as like saying, oh, I just do it to make money. Because then who cares? Like people do things for other people way more before they'll do stuff for money, kind of.
Well, if you're money driven, then you're probably coming from a place of scarcity. If you're coming from a place of scarcity, it's scared money. And I don't think you ever get anywhere, right? You're just spinning the wheels and trying to the quick fixes, band-aids and all that, versus coming from a place where you have a well-defined purpose. And then part of that purpose is to serve, right? You want to serve others and serve them at the highest level so that you could deliver to them something that's going to make a difference for them.
100%. And that might be, for your family, right? Like if you might be going to work because you need to make money. Like that's the deal. But what's the purpose of the money? It's to go home and provide that for your family because you want to be able to do more things that create more memories so that you whatever that may be. It is important to have that deeper meaning. It's almost like peeling the onion. Like we talked about, right?
We were talking about that.
And it's like when you get an objection, it's usually, I'll think about it, right?
Sure.
Surface, it's usually something along those lines. I want to think about it.
Right.
But it's not that they want to think about it. It's that there's something deeper than that. So there's like specific questions maybe that they're going to think about. Okay. And that's one level deeper. But same with the purpose. That's the real driver in a very monotonous, right? Can be a very monotonous job.
Right. Well,
and it is just a job if you don't have purpose.
Right. I think it's interesting because when we started this podcast, we almost didn't really have necessarily a purpose for at first, right? It was like, hey, we want to have a podcast. We want to talk to agents and help, but we didn't have it very defined. And as we honed our skills and got comfortable on the microphone, it became more of, okay, well, our purpose is to serve agents by understanding what the top agents and marketers and different resources around the world are providing so that that's going to help accelerate the success of other agents.
Right.
Right. And now there's been some iterations and now I think we've gotten pretty clear about what that is.
Yes.
We even wrote it down.
Right. Are you asking me for? Should
we say it? You want to say it? Do it.
Yeah, it's freeing agents from their agency by helping them build predictable, consistent, and profitable sales machine.
Yeah.
And that for me meant a lot because when I came into here, I didn't know what I was doing. And, they always have goals. Every insurance carrier has goals that they want you to hit and stuff. And when you do that, you also have a family at home, and you want to be able to provide for them predictably, but you also want to spend time with them. You don't want to have to be a slave to your job,
Right.
And I felt like I was when I first started.
Me too.
So I know that as we've dove deeper into these subjects and developed our own systems and stuff, it's helped me to free me of the agency where I'm working on it constantly instead of in it, and able to do the things that I think help, the agency the most, but also what I want to do, like I can, you can pick and choose, and the predictability and consistent was huge because I did not feel that it was consistent, and I didn't feel very secure, and consistency brings security for me.
Well, I remember, hours and hours of talking where you were chained to the agency where if you leave, it turns into a freaking dumpster fire, right? And
right.
I had the same thing for many years where it was like, well, I can't leave. My family wants to go on a vacation or they want to do something. And, well, that's not going to happen, right? I have a business. And it's like, well, do I have a business or does a business have me?
Ooh.
And, yeah.
Deep.
And I think you got to turn those tables on it. And it happens by first figuring out what that purpose is, not to be you don't want to be on the hamster wheel where it's just, I come in, I'm slammed all day, I'm answering emails and texts, and it's just nuts, but nothing got accomplished. Did you move the needle? We got to move that needle. And the only way is to have that purpose well-defined, right? Well-defined for our clients, for how we're going to be with our team. And I think that what you just said is great because for us as the insurance dudes, free the agents from their agency by helping them build a predictable, consistent, and profitable sales machine is huge, right? Look, we want everybody to be in the position where they're not on the hamster wheel. And I think along the way of listening to this podcast, that has been the goal or the purpose. And that if you listen to enough of these things, I think that there's enough goodness in there where you could extract it and make that happen.
Right. No, definitely. And I think it's important with the purpose is it becomes so mundane at times. And sometimes you don't move the needle on a day and the day goes by and you just kind of put out fires. And I think our staff kind of feels the same way, especially in sales and service too. It's important that us knowing our purpose as the agency owners, but also having our staff know what their purpose is and us being able to help them through that, because then when they have to deal with something that's crazy, we'll say an upset client, that they kind of re-see that purpose and go, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this. So it's really not a big deal. I actually just talked to my service manager today about that. And we were talking about how, sometimes you need to take that, like let's say there's an upset client. Sometimes you need to just take 5 minutes and 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes and just think about it. Think about what you're grateful for that happened over the last year, the last 3 years and all this stuff, your family and all this stuff that you're really grateful for. And then go, oh, wait, yeah. Sam on the phone that just yelled at me really wasn't that big of a deal. Who cares? He's just having a bad day. But I'm so stoked I get to go home. Grandkids or babies or whatever it is, and there's this, we're looking forward to this trip in 2 months, or just, Christmas is coming up. It's going to be super cool. You know what I mean? So when you have that, the purpose helps pull you.
Yeah.
Where I'm just going to make some money doesn't necessarily pull you.
Right. Well, that purpose if the purpose is properly and proactively planned, a little alliteration there. So if that's set up the right way, where it is from a place of abundance and service, the money will follow, right? In fact, I think you could argue that a lot more will follow that way. And so defining that purpose, as the agency owner, say your purpose is to provide expertise or expert coverage to the clients and passionately protect their assets, right? So if you come to those calls, if you're
P's.
I know, Pretzinger, if your sales agents come to those calls and they're purpose driven like that, hey, look, I have to do this because I see it done incorrectly so many times. It's my passion to make sure that you're properly protected. Then I know. Then
you can pivot.
Then you don't need to pivot. You can stay on that planned path. Right. But think about any time that you've met with somebody who is a salesperson versus somebody who's like a true advisor, right? When they come with their heart fully committed to it, you're attracted to that, right? Like you're attracted at some level to that, the way that they're delivering it and the passion they have behind it, right? So it's a quote, or it's like, look, I'm going to go through this and make sure that it's done exactly right because it normally isn't, and delivering that solid package to them so that it's something that they are like, dang, nobody's ever done it like that before, right? Drop the mic. They're going to take it.
Right.
And they should take it because if they don't, then they're not properly protected, Professor.
And I think you brought up a good point. It's attractive, right? It's attraction, whether you're attracting your team.
Right.
Like they want to be a part of a team that's attractive. They want to work for something that's attractive. Just like if they're working in that fashion, they see that purpose and have that kind of passion, then yeah, I know. I kind of did that on purpose. Then when they're selling, it's the same thing. It's a very attractive quality.
Yeah.
When you're passionate, you got purpose, and I think it's very important.
As opposed to the dull, boring person who's delivering it and it's repetitive, mundane. There isn't anything exciting there. It's almost like kryptonite, right? You're on the phone going over this thing you don't 100%. Want to talk about, and it's like they're boring, and it's like the subject is boring, and get me off this thing. Like it's a repellent. And you certainly don't want that to happen, right? So the whole notion of being an attractive character within your agency for your team, and so that they do. Have you ever noticed that, like, if you're you're in a funk and you're not really behaving as you should as the leader, have you ever noticed how they start to emulate you, right? If you complain about things, they start to.
Right. 100%.
If you're positive about things, they start being positive. And so in our position as the person in charge of the agency, it's so important to bring those qualities to the team because they're going to follow, right? So whether you're a repellent or you're attractive in delivering the message, they're going to do that. And what do you want, right? You're not going to move an organization forward by complaining about your carrier or complaining about the way things are done or woe is me. You're going to move it forward and have success by leading with it by the example. It doesn't mean that you have to be doing the quotes. It doesn't mean you have to do those things, but it certainly means that you have to be involved in coaching the team, right? Or at least putting up in some coaching like daily drills. That's a plug. A plug.
That is a
So I just had to do that because it's a P.
It is a P. And that actually, so daily drills, what we do is Major Miguel will constantly, every single day, drill our sales team on a different part of the script. And again, it's the same thing. It gives you purpose. Like it gives them a purpose. Hey, you're not just giving quotes. There's a purpose to every section of the quote. Right. So that's what daily drills. It's awesome. Daily coaching for your sales team.
Live.
I got my sales team in it, obviously. And it's live,
I love it.
And it keeps us on track.
Yeah.
I love it. Purpose driven. And the purpose drives. It really does drive. It drives a lot better than the money or you have to show up to your job kind of mentality.
Right. Well, even daily drills, it's not like we're sitting here grabbing all the money for that. It goes to Major Miguel. Who cares, right? Like let's take care of, I mean, that's the other thing is your team will excel when they're taken care of or they feel taken care of, right? It's not what you say, it's how you make them feel. So I don't know. I just think that it's so important to define that purpose. If you haven't, grab out a piece of paper, grab out a pen, and take that pen to that paper and write it out and workshop it. We spent a lot of time to put together our defining purpose for the iDudes, right? Like it wasn't just overnight. We actually have been whittling at it, and it may change could be a living, breathing message. We want to try to get it hammered down into concrete, but love that. If you want to text your purpose over to Jason, to Mr. Jason, you can do so at 520-214-2219. And he will say, that's awesome. I bet you he will say, that's awesome. And a little fire.
That is very likely. Yes, that is awesome. And the fire emoji is Jason's top things that he texts.
And we've got 17 minutes, so I know you're pulling in the parking lot at your office. So thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and push a little review over there so the insurance dudes could be at the top of the pile.
Love it.
Yeah. See you next time, Mr. Jason.
Goodbye, Mr. Craig.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes. It's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.